Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning in once again for another episode with the Comic Menu. As your host, Fidel Del Guzman, Culinary Comics, aka the Cute Face. Oh, damn, my thing's already messing up. Come on, there, there we go. Kind of, sort of, and then obviously my other co-host, Caesar.
Yeah, I'm actually
Yes,
the handsome face. He's the cute face. I'm actually the handsome face. We have a good show today. We have a nice co-host, Charlie Lostboy, and the very talented Mr. Rodney Barnes. So let's get the show started.
And guys, don't expect the same thing as last week. Last week got drunk. It was for charity, obviously.
It was
And
for
he didn't
charity.
get drunk. I got it for charity. I want to apologize for everybody. I forgot the last 30 minutes of the show. I had to reach out to Caesar to remind me. So it's gonna be more chill, relaxing, geeking out, having a great conversation. We found out some stuff we need to talk to about, and then we'll talk about some other geeky stuff. Real quick, we'll get our co-host Charlie.
Hi guys.
Introduce yourself real quick, Charlie. Let them know who you are, what you do, what have you been doing in the industry.
Yeah. My name's Charlie, and we're gonna call it last name Lostboy. I run and own Lostboy Comics here in Washington, North Carolina. Been doing it as a side gig for 3 years, and then went full time almost a year ago. And I am honored to be here on this stage with you guys.
Sweet.
Appreciate that. And then we have, Charlie, being real humble because the next person we got on is somebody that's, if you don't know who he is or what he's done, I'm pretty sure you've seen some of his art, his work, seen some of his shows, some of his comics, and we'll talk about it as soon as we get him on. So real quick, like we said, hey, Rodney, what you doing, brother?
Hey, so you were drunk on a show and you don't remember?
And, Rodney, you know what the thing is? It's recorded, so you can actually go on our page and see that.
You got drunk for charity, is what
You
you're
got
saying.
junk for charity.
Yeah. So what happened was like, hey, we have some artists. We had a drinking draw, right? The artists were here and they were drying. We wanted to get the bids up. I'm like, and they're like, hey, we'll add $10 for every shot. Bet, let's do it. Boom! I'm taking shot after shot, and the thing is, I bought a mystery bag, right? I was drinking. What was I drinking?
Everything.
I was pretty much. And I mixed it all together, not thinking that I was still young.
Oh
At the end of the day, we raised $650.
Hey,
Yeah,
there you go.
It was good. The thing is, good thing it didn't go up to 1,000, or else we would have to pump his stomach.
This guy was the main reason right there. He kept bringing it back up.
He kept on. Well, go 100. We'll go another 50, and this guy's like down the hatch. And next thing you know, he was a mess. I'm not gonna lie. He was a mess, but it was all for charity. It's all for charity.
It was for Voices Against Cancer, and I don't know if I'll drink as much because we're gonna have another one every month. We're gonna have a charity event every month, so we can bring that out as much as possible. So this end of the month, we have another drink and draw with Aaron Bartley and Ryan Kincaid. But the kicker for August is a one chip challenge and draw. Yeah. So they have to do the one chip. And then as soon as they're done, they're gonna have to go do it. It's three artists volunteered. We didn't ask because it was their decision, and they're gonna do it. I'm like, let's do it. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, we're gonna be fair. We're gonna let them do at least 30% of their drawing, and then eat the chip, and then they're gonna slobber and blubber all over this thing, and then we're gonna charity it off. So there you go.
Oof.
Yeah, exactly.
I still have yet to do one of those and don't plan on it.
Yeah, I'm glad I came this week. I'm glad. I'll donate.
There we go.
I'll donate.
We did it before. Me and Dale did it live on the show before, and
oh yeah, I remember that show. And everybody was making fun of us. And then at the end of the day, I thought, okay, drink milk. It's good for you. It bring down the heat. I went and grabbed it. I'm drinking it, and then I put chocolate milk. I'm shaking it around. I'm drinking it. It's expired milk. I ended up I was throwing guts. I was out of there. I went outside and threw up everything.
I personally think it was probably okay milk, and then they put it close to his mouth, and it automatically got nasty because of that nasty chip. But anyways, we digress. It tastes like shit, but it was just a stupid experiment. But anyways, all right.
It was that guy's fault. That's right there in the comment section. Yeah. He was like, I'll donate the chip.
I'll donate the chip.
Yeah.
Take the chip, they said. It'll be fun, they say.
But anyways, today it's gonna be more calm. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff that's gonna cause me to vomit today.
That's good.
Good.
Real quick, Caesar, I'll take care of the comic section.
Okay,
you want to
cool.
go ahead and start the questionnaire?
Let's do it. All right, guys. Well, listen. This is a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, right? We have a lot of shows going on, a lot of TV stuff like that. And Rodney, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of stuff going on, right? So what's in the irons? What do you got going?
Well, I mean, we're all on strike right now. The writers are.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
And as of midnight tonight, the actors may be on strike. So I don't know. But before all of that, I executive produce and write a show called Winning Time about the LA Lakers for HBO. And the second season airs August the 6th. I premiered.
Okay.
And I've got a couple mini series in development, one about Jack Johnson. The comic that I write, Killadelphia, is in development. I'm writing the script for that. A bunch of there it is. There it is. I'm looking to my board. I'm not looking off in the distance. A couple of movies, couple of things. I'm redoing The Longest Yard.
Oh, really?
I'm doing another adaptation of that.
So that's already what? That's already this will be the third adaptation? Second adaptation?
Third. Well, the second adaptation. Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
is it going to go more towards the comedy side or is it going to be more of
the Adam Sandler one was pretty? Yeah, the Adam Sandler one was pretty more in the comedy side. More in the sports arena. It'll be more sports driven than just comedy driven.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite
I don't want to see any more of those.
For some reason, every time they come on TV, I always sit and watch it.
Yeah. Yes.
So, a book that's coming out or that's been dropping.
So let's take it back, Rodney.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Oh, this guy's cracking up here. I think he's thinking about that chip. It's affecting his system.
Oh, my thing is messing up. Dang it.
You're breaking up.
Hold on, I'll be right back. You take over, Caesar. You got this.
Yeah, your thing's messing up. All right. So let's do this, Rodney. Let's take it back old school. What's the first comic book you picked up?
Ooh.
I think, because I don't remember for sure, but it was probably when Neil Adams was doing the covers and some interior art for Detective Comics and the Batmans during that period of time, because I'm old. And I remember seeing his artwork on spinner racks when I was a kid, and just like they were the greatest covers. I don't even think I could read the books at the time, but I love the artwork. And so Neil Adams covers, and at the time Neil was sort of drawing everything. He was doing the Green Lantern covers, everything DC was doing, Action Comic covers, everything. And so I think probably a Detective Comic was the first.
Detective Comics. Those are always good to go.
And did you end up having a favorite growing up? Was you a Batman guy or?
It wasn't so much him per se. I mean, Batman was certainly a favorite, but as a kid, I followed art, and then as I got older, the books sort of evolved to where you started having guys like Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman, and they sort of became more like literature to me. And I fell in love with Swamp Thing and Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing, and then Miller's run on Daredevil, and that went over to The Dark Knight Returns, and just any book that had superior writing and art to complement it sort of became my fixation.
Love it.
Right.
Hey, so I actually was going to ask, and I want to jump ahead of so much because I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Certain writers did it for you, right? Did you have that one specific writer that you couldn't get enough of?
Well, Alan Moore. Alan Moore and Frank Miller were my guys when I was coming up. I mean, I love Miracle Man. I love Swamp Thing. I think for Miller, when Miller was doing Daredevil, his run on Daredevil, his run on Batman, those were two of my guys. But, I was still kind of an art guy, appreciator, Jim Starlin, because he did both. He drew and he wrote as well. And so, any of those books sort of grabbed me. Claremont and Burns' run on X-Men. I was a mainstream guy because indie comics weren't really, you would have companies that would come and go. It's not like right now, but any run on any great book was sort of, what I gravitated to. I wasn't so much just DC or Marvel. I wasn't one or the other.
How about now? What are you reading right now?
Mostly indies. Something is Killing the Children and Ice Cream Man and that Silver Coin and
oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's tough sometimes for me to do the mainstream books because the universe changes so much. It's like every 2 years the rules kind of change, and I came up in a different comics world. I'm I read a lot of Star Wars books because I write Star Wars books, but I end up buying a lot of books on Wednesdays and not reading them.
Yeah, we're all guilty of that.
I got stacks and stacks of books all over the place and that I never get an opportunity to read.
Rodney, have you checked out We Live?
I've heard of it, but I haven't checked it out yet. No.
I will say, out of all the indies, heck, all the books in the last 2 years, it's probably one of my favorite stories. I love it.
All right, I'll buy it.
Yeah, you got to check it out. Amazing.
Sold.
There we go. So I know you have the Mandalorian dropping. And not to be harsh, Star Wars fans are like one of the most critical fans out there. What was the reception for you as you've been writing? Any negativity, any positivity?
Extreme in both situations. I mean, I was sort of used to it because I did a Lando book, Lando Double or Nothing, for the younger Donald Glover version of Lando, connected to the Solo movie. So there were some there. I think for the Mandalorian adaptations, there are people who wanted new stories, which there couldn't be new stories because the people who do the TV show didn't want the book to somehow step on whatever stories they may tell.
Right.
So really, I was, sort of relegated to stay within the boundaries of what they did. So it's just basically, a carbon copy of what you see in the TV show. And some people hate that. Some fans want a new story.
Mm-hmm.
And some fans love The Mandalorian so much that they just love to have it as a comic book in any form. So you've got extremes. I mean, the people who dig it for the reasons that they dig it.
Right.
And the people that hate it seem to hate it because if I read a review, the thing that they hate about it is that it's not an original story. Like it's verbatim what happened in the TV show.
Right.
So that's against, I don't really
can't win.
There's nothing I can do about any of that. So all I can do is really do the assignment as assigned and hope for the best.
So I am going to show this cover. This one that's recently been coming out, right? And then a book that I was. Go ahead.
No, Georges Gente is great art of Georges. So yeah.
And we were talking about that right now. What me and Charlie were talking behind the scenes. Why I just found out because we got to do our research and see we know you about obviously the bigger stuff, right? The Boondocks, Wu-Tang Clan. But what I found out is that you wrote this book, which was
Nightmare Blog. Yeah,
Nightmare Blog. I was calling it Nightmare Diary for some reason, but Nightmare Blog. And that was another of these horror things would come to indie.
Yeah.
Have been real good. When you wrote this, did you have any was it all you or did you grab some ideas from some movies that came out at the time? I know this was 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, most of the books that I write from the indie places, I really only write the original ideas and things that I've wanted to do for years, and now kind of have an opportunity to jump in there. Nina Hawes is a spinoff from Killadelphia, so it's connected to the Killadelphia world.
Okay.
So she's in that book now as well.
Okay.
So as I'm learning with Killadelphia, Charlie just informed me is that I guess I need to reread Killadelphia, because it's one thing to read and understand and read just to enjoy the book, but
Right.
Spawn is part of the
Spoiler
universe.
alert! Spoiler alert!
Yes, I apologize, guys. Y'all need to catch up on Killadelphia number 30. Spawn joins the universe of Killadelphia.
When I saw it, I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
That's gotta be key book. That's gonna be a key book.
Number 30,
now. And then he's gonna be at GalaxyCon to sign books. So you expect guys, retail guys.
I'll be in San Diego too. I'll be in San Diego and GalaxyCon. So yeah, both of them.
Nice.
Where can we get copies?
I mean, at this point, your local comic shop or Amazon. Yeah. Those are the only places I would know of.
I will say that I have 5 copies. I will be giving away as random draws tomorrow. So anyone who is on this stream, who's signed up, logged in, all that kind of stuff, I'll pick 5 winners and mail them.
You don't have to do shots. You don't have to do shots.
Yeah.
Hot chips. You don't have to do anything. That's
Nothing,
all you have to do. What he said. Yeah.
Just come hang out, and you get a chance to win the Killadelphia number 30.
There you go.
Dude, that's funny, because I just met Ronnie like 30 minutes ago, and he's already dragging me down to the bus.
No. I'm trying to help.
But yeah, that's a good opportunity. So go Charlie Lostboy on Facebook. Please follow him, and tomorrow he'll make that announcement, and you have a chance. That's a key book. I'm telling you this right now. We're telling you right now, key book. Spawn, it's supposedly in the talks of coming out already. So that's, who knows what's going to happen with that. Are you going to be part of that, Ronnie, by any chance? Will you have you tried to be part of the Spawn movie that's coming out with McFarlane?
No. That's its own thing. Hollywood moves at its own, different set of rules.
Put me in for the winner. These guys, hey, I'm telling you, tune in tomorrow, guys. It's cool. And like we were talking about, it is going to be a key book, something to watch out for. You might have not known, maybe you didn't know the series ever existed. That's a good read. If you like Something Stolen the Children, if you like, what's the other one that James Tynion did that has been kicking off right now?
House of Slaughter, I think.
House of Slaughter is
World Trader or wherever.
World Tree. Mm-hmm. So
okay.
Have you seen that one yet, Rodney?
Not yet. I haven't seen it yet.
That's a wild one. Wild.
What is Rod's favorite shot? What is your favorite shot, Rodney? Do you drink by any chance?
I don't drink.
He's not dumb like us.
Well, I've made it through life and with so many near-death experiences that why push it next?
World Tree. There we go, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's why I like the comment section, because they always, and then for a whole, it's funny, Rodney, you know how we're making fun of me drinking? There for the last 2 months, I've been saying Ahsoka incorrectly for the past 2 months. I get drunk one night and I started saying it correctly. Like, I don't know how. I was like, wow, my English got a lot better.
Wait, how are you saying it? I want to hear this.
Osaka.
That's like a tequila.
Or it's more, like a tequila or like a Japanese name or something. And everybody was just talking smack to me for the longest time. But you know what? I'm getting better at it. And I know the series is coming out soon. Are you looking forward to that? Or do you actually follow the Star Wars miniseries?
I mean, I watch the ones that I adapt for sure. I don't have a lot of time to watch all of them, when they happen at the same time. It's the same thing with the Marvel TV shows. I wish I had enough time to watch everything, but I spend more time writing than I actually do watching TV at all.
Ronnie, how much time do you spend writing a day on average?
Oh my God.
Crazy question.
Average about 8 hours a day.
Wow.
Sometimes it can go up to 10, 12 if I'm on deadline, which I'm on deadline now for books because TV and movies have kind of stopped because of the strike, the writer's strike, but comics continue. So
yes, they do.
A lot of books right now. I'm writing, I think 8 books a month right now. So
wow,
8 books a month, 8 hours.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Comics push through no matter what, don't they?
That they do. They endure.
They sure do.
So, what is you we? Man, I want to talk a lot about the Boondocks, but I don't want to make the whole show about the Boondocks because that's because it's awesome. Because I was younger and I watched it. I just thought it's a cool, funny show. You wrote the comics, right? But were you a big part? No,
I didn't write.
It was just the show.
Yeah, I wrote the show.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was there any pushback when you tried to change it up then?
No, there's no pushback. Adult Swim bought the show that they bought. So, they knew what they were getting.
Yeah, it was ahead of its time, that's for sure. Well, actually, no, it was perfect timing because not many shows now were able to last. A show like that nowadays would not be able to last. So I appreciated coming in when it came out because it was funny as hell. There's memes everywhere now, bits and parts. The Chris Hansen clip, dude, I can just, it goes over my head. That's rent free in my head. That was genius, I swear.
I can't tell you how many nights me and my brother, because we shared a room up until we were, too old really, but how many nights we fell asleep to Adult Swim and Robot Chicken and the Boondocks playing in the background. It was a staple.
Yeah, good times. Works the same way today, but yeah.
So there's a quick question on here from Danny. What is writer's block?
The animation was also pretty good.
It was. Yeah, it's like anime.
Exactly.
What is writer's block like for a comic writer? I really haven't experienced writer's block yet. I think because I worked in sitcoms at the early part of my career, I sort of always looked at it like a job, like you're going to work. So I never really got to a place where I sat around and I sort of said, I don't have anything to write. I knew what the assignment was. So typically, if I just keep working and working and working, even if I'm struggling with a second act or act break or a story, if I just stay with it, eventually I find my way to where I'm trying to go. It's just a matter of just sticking with it more than anything else for me.
That's an excellent example.
And a quick question: you did say you had like other stuff previously. What would you think was your it moment where like, oh man, I think I made it. I think I am where I want to be comfortably. When you like the job, like what job was it that you said, oh, this is what I wanted to do. This is where it feels to be a writer.
I haven't gotten that job yet. I hope one day, I can come back and answer that question for you. I've been writing professionally for almost 30 years. And I think for me, I'm just fortunate to continuously to be able to do it. I don't really look at the past or any of the other stuff, not because of any issue other than I'm always so focused on the future and wanting to continue to do this that I really only think about it or talk about it when, moments like this when people bring it up. But, it's such a competitive business and it has so many obstacles in it and there's so much uncertainty that it's hard to just kind of sit back and say, man, I made it. This is exactly what I want to be. Right. It's always like, when I'm in one gig or I'm pitching something, I'm always thinking about, okay, once that I get a yes or a no, I'm thinking about the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. If you could see this wall, it looks like a serial killer's wall of ideas. And it's about 50 things on here. And of those 50 things, maybe 3 will see the light of day. And, that's really only because I'm so used to hearing the word no. we're talking about maybe the 30 or 40 things that I've done. The 30 or 40 times Hollywood or the comics industry has said yes, not the 10 million times they've said no.
Wow.
No. Right.
So you brought it.
You feel comfortable when you're inundated with the word no.
Yeah. So you brought up in your speech there the obstacles. What has been the hardest one? Is it no or something else?
No. I think personal discipline is always resistance, I guess, is what it's professionally called. It's like there's some days where you wake up and you just don't want to do it. I do.
Yeah.
I wake up. It's like you got homework every single day. All day, every day. The kids are outside playing. You want to go outside and play with the kids.
Yeah.
And I've got to work. Rain or shine, or regardless of the circumstances. But once you get into it and you get a flow, then you feel better. But there's always the pressure of having something to do, and it would be great to sometimes be able to take a break. But anytime I've tried to take a break, I'm always thinking about, man, there's work to do. I feel guilty.
Yeah.
So,
So, Rodney, I had a question. When are you and Jordan Peele ever going to work together on something?
Oh, wow.
We worked together. We had a pilot together at Comedy Central, I guess almost 10 years ago, and they didn't pick it up. And Jordan has given me he gave me a blurb for Killadelphia and has been supportive. And of course, I love him. And, Jordan's success has opened the doors up for many people to consider horror in a different kind of light. So I'm very appreciative of him. And who knows, someday we may do something together.
That would be awesome.
People, if you watch Nope, they were like, oh, I didn't like it. I liked whatever. I loved it. I thought it was great.
So far, I think he's done real well with the horror genre.
I think Jordan has, not to cut you off, I think Jordan has a really unique voice. And it's like Alfred Hitchcock in a way. Yeah. And he's doing something that is he's in his own lane. He's not competing with anyone else. So it's like Tarantino in a way. It's like when you go to see a Tarantino movie, it's different than anybody else. Maybe you got Paul Thomas Anderson or some other folks, but these guys have their own voices in what they do. So they're evergreen. You just hope that they continue to, do what they do for as long as they can.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because, and before, once I say this, there's a question for you, Rodney. But for a long time, people thought he was just a comedian, right? When he started with the first movie, there was not negativity. It was more like, I wonder. But he started getting these movies out. They were not just mediocre. There was some great stuff that he's been putting out. So Jordan, you're doing. I don't know if you're ever going to see this, but you're doing a great job. Keep it up. So Rodney, you had a question from Steve. What keeps you pushing? What's your motivation?
Wanting to be the best version of myself, wanting to always get better. It's a weird thing with writing. I think it's like everybody else, every other endeavor. If you do it enough and you just keep chipping away, you get better at it. And once you sort of figure out what your voice is and what your heart is sort of pushing you in a direction to do, then it starts to get exciting to say, how good could I really be? And whatever your dreams are, whatever your ambition is, it sort of attaches itself to that. And it just becomes, I won't say obsession, but you really want to get to a place to bring the best out of yourself. And so that's sort of my motivation, to see how good I can possibly be.
I love that.
It's good because it's endless pretty much, because you don't have a limit on that, and you just keep on thriving and keep on trying to reach that goal. And then by the time you know it, who knows, you're dead. And you never really reached it, but everybody else is like, damn, he did the best way. But he's like, nah, that's not even the best. If he had lived 10 more years, he would have brought something even better. So that's great, because you're always adapting. You're not just, you're not complacent. So that's a good thing when it comes to your kind of work.
Try.
So, where's that one line advice to give kids who have the same dreams? So, go ahead, Caesar, real quick. So, you ask your question.
I was gonna say, Rodney, being in Hollywood, the no's you just talked about, how you get more no's than yeses.
Yeah,
It's a hard industry to be in. Period. Right.
I can't imagine.
I mean, because you have those people who think, oh, I'll just go to Hollywood, I'll write a script, and I'll be famous.
Oh,
right? And
I
they're
think,
like,
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people think it's purely a meritocracy. Like, if I can write a good script, then I can survive in Hollywood. And there's so many other aspects of the business that you have to be prepared for. There's the politics, there's the actual business itself. It's being able to emotionally deal with rejection. It's being able to discipline your life so that you live below your means. It's being able to, when things aren't working for long periods of time, to be able to deal with that, because you begin to doubt yourself, and to be able to humble yourself in a way that you don't let the highs get too high or the lows get too low. And it's really, really hard. And I think for younger writers, certainly for today's world, there's so much divisiveness. There's so much. There wasn't a Twitter when I was growing up, so for people to actually, it's weird because comic books were always something for me that I loved. Like when my parents were going through a divorce, when I was going through a divorce, when things were like really, really bad, there were always comic books. Like I could go in a room, get a big glass of lemonade, and just sit in my room and zone out for however many hours, for however many books that I had. And they just sort of were always the dependable aspect of my life. They were always there. I never thought of hating them or hating the people that made them, or if there was a book that wasn't my taste, it was like, I just didn't like that book. I just wouldn't get the next month. I would just move on to the next thing. It wasn't necessary for me to say, I hate this person that makes this thing, or I'm mad, or I'm going to rally against whatever. I just did it. I just went on to the next thing. And so, everyone has a voice, which is a beautiful thing in some ways, but when it becomes caustic and when it becomes mean-spirited, I think it makes a thing that has really been a virtue in my life and a very beautiful aspect of my life. It makes it difficult sometimes. So to witness, it takes some of the idealism, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's comics, whether it's just art in general. And, not to be a hypocrite, because when you talk about a show like the Boondocks, we were very critical of a lot of different things. But it's different when you're on the other side of the table. It's like when you're just judging something and you don't know all of the factors that went into making it, there's no responsibility. You just say, it's trash or it's the greatest thing ever. But then when you start to make things and you realize that it's not just about making something, that sometimes studios and networks have their own agendas, and you had so many hands in the pot that the public didn't get a true representation of what a thing could be. I think that makes it, you get more perspective, and I think you can be a lot more empathetic with creatives once you do that. And I think everybody's just trying to do the best that they can do.
So there's a question there for you, Rodney. What's the one line of advice to give kids who have the same dreams?
If it's writing, it's always develop your own voice. I think a lot of times, if you think about hip hop, if you think about any trend, a lot of times something will be successful and then everybody will shift and try to do the same thing so that they can do that. And the same way we're talking about Jordan Peele or James Tinian or anybody who has a name, 9 times out of 10, we're talking about them because they do their own thing. Like they found something
their
that
little
feels
niche
and true to them. When you're reading a Tinian book, when you're reading my books, when you're reading, like you can hear us in it. And it's like that's the most beautiful form, I think, of self-expression, is being able to be your authentic self and being able to develop an audience that can appreciate your authentic self, not trying to mimic somebody else.
So Danny had brought up this whole AI, and then the AI is the main reason why there's that strike, right? That and like pay. You can give us more information on what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to, I'll say the actor side, and I'm not an expert on the actor side, even though I am in the Screen Actors Guild. If you were to see a movie like Raiders of the Lost Ark, like right now, the new one that's out, right? I think the Dial Destiny or stuff that it's called. Yeah. And say if this is the last one with Harrison Ford, and let's say 25 years from now, they decide to do a reboot of that. Who's to say that with technology you couldn't have like Harrison Ford co-star in the movie, even though he's long gone? You could have a storyline with him. What would his estate get? What would happen if all of a sudden now we start to use computer generated imagery, to take away the rights that actors have with their own imaging and likeness and all of this other stuff. Now you could just push anybody out of the way and sort of create your own thing and do your own thing. And if there's no legislation or restrictions or rules as to how you leave it up to the people who have the money to do that, then all of a sudden you have, the actors lose their standing and their positioning in the industry. And on my side, the writer side, if you go to any of these AI sites and apps and all of these things, if you're savvy enough, you can put in enough information, and within 10 seconds, maybe less, a computer can generate a script. It might not be as polished and unique and good because the computer can really only give you the information that it has. I don't think it can invent, at least not right now, information. But who's to say one day that it won't? Who's to say that one day it won't evolve to a place where at a certain point, you don't need, like usually back in the day when I started in writers' rooms, you might have a writer's room of 10 or 12 writers of all varying levels. You had the entry-level writers, you had the middle writers, and then you had the guys at the top of the table. If you've got a computer now that can generate a script, you don't need those younger writers in the same way. I'm going from the perspective of the studio or the network, not from mine, because I think you need those 12 writers. But if you're trying to cut costs, you don't have to pay a computer a pension or health care. A computer can't complain about discrimination, or it can't go to human resources. You don't have to feed it. You don't have to give it a parking space. You don't have to give it a salary. You don't have to do any of that. All it needs is to do what it's told, and then you hire maybe 2 or 3 upper tier writers, and they come in and they just fix the parts that the computer has generated, and there you go, and you have a script. And so, I think that it radically could change the landscape, and I think it could hurt a lot of younger. It would hurt all of us, to be honest with you. But and I don't think you get the same level or same degree of artistry at all. But that's one of the reasons.
Somebody brought up a thing, and I don't know if you comment on it. Say we do have a comic written by AI. Who would sign for that book? You know how we sign comics to get this labs, like to CGC or CBCS? Who would sign those books nowadays? Like, you know what I mean? That was a question I had seen recently in a post. I'm like, that's a good question. You know what I mean? There's no. A lot of people love the yellow label because it's signed by the artist, signed by the writer.
Right.
So nowadays, what would happen in that case? Would that just, you're taking a lot of jobs.
It's not even just the job that you're taking away. I think you're redefining the idea of what art is. Oh, yeah. It's like art is a form of human expression. and you can judge a culture or a society by the art that it creates. What happens when a computer generates that art? Is it really art? Does it become a product? Does it become just a replication of the thing that was original at one time? So I think, and as society continuously evolves, and we're certainly in a tumultuous time right now, you need art to be able to be the voice of people, you know. And I think if there's ever going to be any cohesion in society, it's when people start to hear how other people feel and are connected to that thing. You don't get that if you're only trying to make a product.
Right. I think you would quickly see the movie theaters empty. You would quickly see art not being bought the moment that it fully went.
Yes, I mean, I think to a degree,
Yeah,
you have an audience. If you look at the way animation has changed over the years,
yep.
From the early Disney stuff or even the modern day Disney stuff to what you do with the Pixar folks do.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that are created by computers primarily, not primarily, but in conjunction with. But, I think technology can be a tool, but it's a lot like capitalism. Capitalism doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but I think there has to be some compassion within the idea of capitalism. And if it becomes just rogue capitalism, where you're just out to just destroy everybody, that's when it becomes dangerous. And I think it's the same thing with technology. If it doesn't take people into consideration, that's where the danger comes.
Yeah, you're right, Boris. So somebody had said this about rubber stamps. So real quick, there's a question for Charlie. What does Last Boy Comics stand for?
Oh man, that is very quick and easy. My motto is hold on to those happy thoughts. It's really important in today's world and everything we're talking about right now. Hold on to all the joy that you can, because life's difficult, and like we already discussed, that comics stand through. And I think comics stand through because it brings everyone joy. And I think that that's the big overall thing is to hold on to the joy, the happy thoughts, and um, as Rodney said probably a few times, to keep pushing through.
Pretty much.
The only choice we got.
Yep.
So, and I know we're talking about the writer's block and all that stuff, but what is the future as of right now with the new zombie poster you posted up recently?
Yeah, I mean, Zombie Love Studios. I did a book, Blackula. That was our first publishing endeavor. But I'm doing a horror podcast. Thank you. I'm doing a horror podcast soon. Don't know where we're going to land, but working on a deal right now. I've got some films in development. I've got television in development. I've got a novel that I'm writing. I'm doing a bunch of books back to back to back, and it's just a tsunami of material and stuff. And very proud of it. Happy to be at this position in my life to where there's a lot to do, and hoping it continues.
How was it? Idle hands and stuff like that. If you have something to do, you're always like,
Yeah,
it's true. I can't go out and just start drinking, doing the shots, and let's just get that, of course. But other than that, I would probably be on the show, eating hot chips, and then drinking sour milk and doing all kinds of stuff. So I need to be in trouble.
Del, nobody was able to hear that earlier. I think you need to explain that really fast.
Just charity, and I don't want to remember what happened. Honestly, like, Caesar had to tell me what happened, and I rewatched it because I needed to get the numbers. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch it again. Like the first hour and a half, I was good, and then the last 30 minutes, I was burping and falling down. And I work here at home, right? And I have a work computer, a laptop right next to me. I swear, I'm so happy the drunk me moved that laptop over here out of my way. I don't know why I did that, But that's I'm so happy that happened because I spilled some drink later that night.
Oh,
So like, oh, drunk me is awesome sometimes.
Rodney, hey Rodney, is Killadelphia still a go for TV?
I'm rewriting the pilot right now, and like I said, there's not a whole lot going on the development front because we're on strike. So it's not like we're talking to the network in the studio right now, doing all of those things. But independently, I've been working on the script and trying to get it to where I believe it should be.
This writer strike, it sucks. I'm a native LA. I'm born there, raised there for 49 years, and then I moved to New Mexico. And being from LA, that's all you hear because it's LA, right? It's Hollywood. It's what you hear. So the past writer strikes, the actor strikes, and all that. It's a big deal, man, and it cripples. It cripples.
Yeah.
The industry
I don't think
hard.
people look at the magnitude of all the ancillary businesses, the restaurants, how the city and multiple cities depend on the revenue that comes from production and the work. Not to mention us and writers and crew and cast and all of that stuff. It's a painful thing that we're all going through.
With that being said, have you been noticed? And I know you're busy, Rodney. I know you're busy, but have you seen those recent rumors about Deadpool 3 with Channing Tatum coming in as a cameo, Jennifer coming in as a cameo?
I saw a picture of Deadpool and Wolverine in a yellow costume. That's all I've seen.
Did you ever read that movie, that comic, the Wolverine '88, by any chance? Or
yeah.
Did you,
yeah.
And do you own that? Do you own a copy of it?
I do somewhere. I've got a couple 100,000 comic books.
Love it.
So yes, I don't. If you were to ask me where, if you find that book in 10 minutes or I'm going to kill you, I'd be dead. It's like there's no way. I have no idea where it is. But when you see the book, I'm looking in the direction of where I believe it is. But,
Skin cancer, oh, I don't want to know that. That sucks. I really hope that's not true. That skin cancer is why he has long sleeves.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to open that door up. I just was saying the yellow costume, the picture. I've seen the picture.
Well, we raised money for it last week. You know what? I'm not going to be beating a dead horse about me getting drunk anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's some tequila, but get Carlos to send some tequila over
there. Dang. So. I know you don't watch many shows or movies because you are busy. What are you actually looking forward to watch that's coming out, or what did you watch recently that was a mainstream movie?
Mainstream. I watched the Spider-Verse movie. I've seen that twice.
Spider-Verse was amazing.
I've seen that twice. I didn't see the Flash movie. I was going to go to see Insidious, and then someone called me and said, "Don't go see it," and so I haven't gone.
Really?
But I haven't. Since COVID, I really haven't watched. I really haven't gone to the movies very much. Yeah, I've gone like 3. Let me scratch that. I actually go and see more old movies than I do new movies because in LA you have theaters like the New Beverly, Tarantino's theater. The Arrow, and a few others where I saw Boogie Nights a few nights ago.
Nice.
I saw Raging Bull the week before. I'm going to see Apocalypse Now in a couple of weeks. So I usually go see old movies. I saw Escape from New York not too long ago. But I don't count that in the same way that, when people say, have you seen, Indiana Jones, or have you seen, whatever. I actually get more excited to see older movies than new movies. I'm that guy.
I love that.
Honestly, I'm kind of sad. Was it with Insidious? They told you not to watch it because it was a bad movie, or
that's usually why. Yes, I was warned not to see it. That doesn't mean it's bad because I haven't seen it, But I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, "What are you doing tonight?" I said, "I'm going to go see Insidious." He said, "Don't go. It's not. Just don't go." No. And so I was like, "Okay." And I was on the fence about leaving the house. When you get to a certain age, you don't want to leave the house. I don't want to leave the house. So it was an all new Dateline on, and I didn't really want to leave. And I heard Insidious was bad. So between those two, Dateline won. They all
Daylight.
Dayline.
Well, I mean, I'm still gonna watch it just because I've seen all Insidiouses, and I'm like vested already. I need to watch them all because if it's incomplete, it's like I shouldn't have watched it to begin with. But Danny had a question. When you do watch those movies, do they spark your imagination?
It not so much my imagination, but they do put me in a place where I'm so I hate the word inspired, but I'm going to use it for right now.
Great question.
Because I think some words sort of in Hollywood, like people say, "Oh, I'm excited." I hate the word excited. Not because I hate the word itself, but I hate the use of it in that way. And so for me, when I'm around art that speaks to me, it gets me to a place creatively where I want to make art, and I want ambitious wise. I want to push myself harder because I've been moved by something that's beautiful. So if I see The Exorcist, Apocalypse Now, maybe 4 other movies, they make me want to work harder when I actually do sit down to work. Because sometimes with the amount of work, sometimes you want to just get through it. You want to just, I got this mountain of work. I got it. Deadlines. And this person is yelling via email, give me this thing. I need it by Friday. And you want to do great work, but then you want to appease that person too. And then when you see something that's beautiful or that speaks to you, it reminds me that, no, I got to take my time and that person has to wait and I'll know when it's ready and I'll push send when it's ready. And that was an important part of becoming a professional writer because there were times when I would push send because that person was yelling at me and it wasn't ready to be seen by anyone quite yet. And I was more concerned with how the other person felt than I was when I was committed, to the work that I was doing. And so the commitment is to the work and the work, itself, more so than anything else.
Well, I actually had a
that
question.
Goes with anything, though, right?
Yeah, it does.
With
but
like artists.
Yes, I believe that it does. But I believe when you're in a place of being beholden, when it's a job, that sometimes commerce and business make it difficult to just allow it to be art. And it's and then it's according to how you deal with it. For me, I don't like to disappoint people. So if I'm in business with you and I like you, it's easy if I don't like you. But if I like you, I want things to be smooth and efficient. And with art, sometimes it's not always a smooth and efficient process.
Yeah.
So this is like a generalized question, right? With you doing your own work, right? You have your own freedom of writing the way you want to write, and you can direct the way you want to direct. Is there something that you haven't done that you want to work on, like a brand, a movie? Huh?
Oh, I came up with 4 things today. Every day I'm coming up with. It's frightening the amount of things that I want to do and the reality that I'll be dead before I'm able to do maybe a quarter of those things. What you have to do is you have to be able to, what I have to do, because I don't like to speak about what people should do, but prioritize, that's part of the professional process as well. For me, if I get an idea and I think that idea is good, part of that is the hubris of me thinking I can make any idea that I come up with good. And that's not necessarily the right thing. So what I'll do is I'll make a couple of notes, put it up on the board, stare at it, and I'll look at the long list of things. And like I said, some things will live, some things won't. Luck of the draw.
I want to see that board.
Oh, the one next to him.
Just stop around. It is madness. It is truly. Kevin Spacey would appreciate this board because it's the degree of madness that is. Excuse me.
So with that being said, who is the favorite, or the not your favorite? Who was the easiest person to work with?
All you're missing are the red.
Yeah, or to go backwards for it to move. But yeah.
Hey, Caesar, your thing is lagging a little bit. I can tell you because you remind me of those Chinese old movies.
I'm an internet. I'm on internet hell of all nights, Rodney. Tonight,
but you've got great comics behind you. You've got great comics behind you, so you're good.
Just stay there.
I'm just eye candy. I'm just eye candy for tonight. I'll just do perfect. I'll just do this. There you go. I'll just put
it in the private chat and I'll ask any question you have right now. So let me know.
No, that's all right. Listen. I'm enjoying listening to Rodney. So let's go ahead. We're going with it. I'm good. My internet's shit.
Hey, so Rodney, what's your favorite character though? Like, I know other than your characters you've created in comics, what is your favorite character?
Well, I mean, I think the vampires of the Killadelphia world are that's my favorite place to play. In comics, I love Swamp Thing. You know, Swamp Thing is still my favorite character, whether it was the Wrightson run or the Alan Moore run or some of the other great people. You know, Nancy Collins did a great run on it. Scott Snyder did a great run on it. I love what Ram is doing right now on it. Jeff Lemire is doing some stuff with Green Hell. Love Swamp Thing.
And it's funny, like right now, I'm gonna put Caesar on. Hold on, let me put Caesar up right on his left shoulder. Turn around, look right there on your left shoulder. What's that? On your left shoulder, right behind you. What's that?
Constantine Swamp.
Yeah, the yellow one right there.
Yeah,
the yellow one. Yeah.
Hold on.
But
wait a minute, Rodney. You want this?
Brother Voodoo, and you've got Wrightson right next to it.
Oh yeah.
Love
it.
It's not slabbed, but I got one.
There we go. Who said Caesar over here is going to sit back? No, we're going to get you in the podcast.
Yeah.
Some way or another.
Yeah, here you go, guys. Here you go, Ronnie. You got the whatever you want.
Oh, you got a Werewolf by Night. You got the Adams Dracula. You got all kinds of stuff.
Caesar, I'm going to make you an offer on all that right now, if that's all right.
You've got to have.
I will not take it.
You better have a great security system in your house. I know. If I turn to a light,
it's called the.
There you go. You know, but it's only limited. If you got that, you've got more. So I'm going to go with that.
I'm good. I'm good with blades, Rodney. I'm very good with blades. I'll tell you that right now.
All right. But 2 a.m, when you're dead in the sleep, it's like, wait a minute, I got to go get the katana. It's like, I'm going to get something. I'm going to get out of there with something. So yeah.
Kill Bill, baby, Kill Bill.
Yeah.
I do have a dog. I do have a dog that'll absolutely lick you to death. How's that? Does that
all right? Yeah, your Hattori Hanzo sword will keep you safe.
Yeah, my Hattori Hanzo sword. Yeah. What? Speaking of movies, is there a specific genre that you like, Rodney?
Horror. Horror is my favorite genre.
Is there a specific genre of movies you enjoy? Horror is the movie. Yeah.
Horror is my favorite. I mean, horror is horror. I mean, if I see, I have wasted more time
old school
watching bad horror movies. Yeah, I mean, more so than anything else. I will go out of the house to watch any 70s or 80s. I saw Dawn of the Dead a couple of weeks ago. The Romero one, not the. I like the James Zack Snyder one, but
they were both great.
Yeah, I mean George C. Scott's Changeling.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
The Birds.
Yeah, I mean, I love all of that stuff.
Did you watch Evil Dead
Rodney,
Rise?
I think you and I
did. Yeah. My son wanted to go, and I love my son. And sometimes he takes his father on adventures his father doesn't want to go on. And I didn't want to go on that adventure, even though I wrote Army of Darkness for Dynamite.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, you want to go see? Like, he didn't even say you want to go to the movies. He's like, oh, you want to go see The Evil Dead? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I tried to sound happy because, like I said, I love my son, and I may need him one day. So I went and I watched it. It was a movie.
I enjoyed it.
So
Rodney, I think.
Yeah.
So hold on, Caesar, real quick, and I'm gonna let you talk because I know we have to wait to let you answer the question. The best way to get your work would be with any comic shop, right? Pretty much, Rodney.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, always go to the comic shop first. I think eBay and Amazon somehow. Anytime I do a signing, and I think it's some person that loves my work, and then the next day I see it up on eBay. So eBay is a home for anything that I've done. eBay, comic shops, Amazon, for sure.
I know Charlie has some of his covers, so reach out to Charlie if you want to buy something from. Well, because he's a writer of many stuff. You're gonna have to Google him and find out exactly what he's been and what you're actually like. Horror, obviously, is his best thing. But Caesar, what is your question? Go ahead. You got 10 seconds.
Rodney, you and I are about the same age. I'm going to say we're not that far apart. So when you said the Changeling, you and I are the only ones who know about that.
That's okay, though. I don't mind. Every once in a while, and this is the macabre, dark, mean part of me, I don't mind when I make references to things that the generation under me that isn't aware of. You know, the great Stephen Bissett, who I believe penciled that book behind you. We did a podcast a few months ago, and he was killing me. I mean, he went so many different 50s horror films and 40s horror films. And there was a documentary on Shudder that I contributed to called 101 Greatest Horror Films. And, you know, there were horror films in there I wasn't even aware of. But I love being able to play in that space with obscure horror films and, you know, and Wes Craven and all of those guys that, you know, again, like comic books, kept me company when I was an only child growing up. And, you know, I could have been the kind of kid that would grow up to do shots and, you know, fall off my desk and, you know, pour tequila on my laptop. But I didn't grow up to be that kind of kid. You know, I grew up to write.
I love that. I love that.
At least I found out how long is the lag for Caesar's 10 seconds, guys.
Yeah.
So Caesar,
it's 10 seconds, really?
Yeah, because I asked you and I counted
that was quick there, but
well, yeah, that was quick, wasn't it?
I just no, because my internet. I think there's a monsoon going on right now, and that's been effing up my whole thing. But
in Arizona,
this is the thing.
Or he wants to keep us in suspense before he.
We're on with the horror master. That's exactly what he's doing.
It's the horror. It's suspense.
It's the anticipation of silence that, you know.
It's a jump scare, Rodney. It's the jump scare.
Exactly.
It's the
you
jump
don't know what's going to happen. Somebody can come behind me and kill me. You know.
But I do like watching old horror films. I watched a thing of the top 50 campiest horror films, like the Ed Wood types, you know, the Plan 9, what is it? From Plan 9, what's that movie called? I forgot. It's fun. It's fun.
It is.
And the old horror, the black and whites especially, it's just fun to watch the evolution of where we are now from where it was when we first started.
And there's so much stuff that as a storyteller, there's so much you can learn just by watching the evolution of the Universal horror films, the, you know, Claude Rains and Lon Chaney and those guys, up through the Hammer films and all of that stuff. All of those films were connected to what was happening in the world around that period of time when those creators were writing those stories. So, you know, to me, it actually helps me write more relevant stories, I believe, within the time that I'm in right now, because I've generation in the 70s, you know, those guys were writing to Vietnam and the fears of capitalism and, commercial thinking. If you think about Dawn of the Dead and the social commentary that's in Dawn of the Dead or Night of the Living Dead, all of that stuff was built on something. There was something that they cared about that they infused into a genre story. I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of my heroes and to have a moment just to be able to talk to them about. I talked to Stephen King about.
Oh wow!
That was fun.
Well, I was Michael Clark Duncan stand-in on the movie The Green Mile, even though we look nothing alike. But don't tell anybody.
Oh, were you?
That is cool.
Wow!
Whoa.
Wait,
That
wow,
was
look at that.
because I wanted to meet Stephen King, and there's a story behind that too. That's in is the book there? Or did they take it downstairs? There's a book that I'm in about the Green Mile, and that basically talks about how I got that job. Because there's a story. We'd be here all night talking about that, but I really wanted to meet Stephen King. I had an opportunity to talk to Stephen King about writing and these things, but you can go to horror cons and the early ones before you got to now the bigger ones where I've met George Romero and I met Wes Craven and I met all of these guys. And there's something about being able to. Richard Matheson is another one. There's a great store out here called Dark Delicacies, great horror bookstore. And they used to have book signings with Richard Matheson, and I would go on a regular basis and was just as excited to meet him as I was Stephen King, because I love I Am Legend and Bid Time Return, which is Somewhere in Time, or What Dreams May Come, and all of this stuff. But again, this is the food that sort of fed my imagination to support the writing that I do. And it brings a sense of purpose, not only to your art, but I think to life as well, of being able to have something that's pure to hold on to, that's yours. So yeah, I'm just committed to the industry and never want to disparage it in any way.
Please don't.
Yeah. Although I do have this horror film about a hot chip that these kids get a hold of, and it kills the kids. And
these kids.
And it's a horrible. I don't even want to talk about it because somebody might steal the story.
Rodney. I like how you say kids, and I'm the one, and I'm 51, and I took this shit.
No, it's about actual kids. They watch a podcast, they get an idea, and they decide that they want to eat these hot chips, and one of the hot chips has been dipped in tequila, and it's something in the tequila and the worm that gets into the chip, that gets into the kid, and now the kid's a demon, and he's killed the other kids.
You know what, Rodney? Now I know why you're the writer you are, my friend.
You get Jordan Peele to act in it. We can call it Nope 2.
There you go.
Nope 2.
Yeah, because when you see the chip, you're like, nope.
Yeah. So it's the story I'm working on. I'm very proud of it. And
thank you. Man.
Actually came up with it tonight.
I wonder how.
I'm glad he was inspired as soon as he left. He was inspired to write a new book.
But I'm not gonna put based on a true story or any of that. I'm gonna keep all of the money.
Yeah, Del, you get no rights here, buddy.
You get no rights.
AI. You sound like an AI guy.
The chip doesn't even get anything. Nobody gets anything. Yeah.
Not Nope 2. That's funny. But I actually had a question for you. And I want to see it. I don't know. I don't have an accent. What's your favorite zombie movie that's come out so far that you've seen?
Dawn of the Dead.
That one's your favorite? All of them? Or from all of them? Oh, okay.
1978, Dawn of the Dead. Saw it at midnight. Hitchhiked back when you could do that kind of thing. Wow. And they pick up a giant black man in the middle of the night to go to a midnight show. And I made it home. So yes, it's my favorite horror film of all time.
Wait, Ron, is Dawn of the Dead the one at the mall?
Yeah, shot in Pittsburgh. Yes.
Oh, and then they did the remake.
Yes, they did the remake where they run. They run. It was an action movie. The remake was an action movie. It wasn't really a horror.
That's
right. But I agree.
You see a lot of Tom Savini in that Dawn of the Dead.
You do on a motorcycle. And he's got swords too. And
on a motorcycle chopping off heads. Yeah.
Yes. the most, and a lot of the bikers were drunk.
He's great. If you guys
for charity.
For charity.
If you guys don't know who Tom Savini is, if you do not for charity, if you don't know who Tom Savini is, if you guys remember Dawn of the, if you remember that movie with Salma Hayek, what's it called?
With
vampires,
George Clooney.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn. Tom Savini, he's a renowned makeup artist of the time, but he was the guy who had the gun pop up from his crotch with the revolver. That's
that was him.
Actually came out. Yeah, so Tom Savini he's a phenomenal Rodney from the 60s, 70s, starting out as a makeup and special effects guy, and he also comes out in his own movies.
And
so that's him with the little pistol and directed some, yes.
Yeah,
that's great.
For all you kids.
Finally, Caesar said something that makes sense. There we go.
Jesus Christ.
From Dusk Till Dawn is a great movie. That was honestly, that was a great time to have seen all those movies. Because I think from there I also enjoyed like Once Upon a Time in Mexico, the Mexican, like on that time frame. I enjoyed all those movies. Yeah. Nowadays they're chilling,
Desperado.
But I don't see any. Desperado.
Yeah.
Was it Young Guns was in around that time too. What's it called?
You can't really mention Young Guns and talk about Dawn of the Dead in the same
I meant like in that time frame, and not story wise, but movie wise, like stuff I enjoyed.
And I worked for Charlie Sheen. I worked for Charlie Sheen on Major League 2 and a couple of other movies, but you can't talk about that.
What's the one with Kevin Bacon? Where he's the vampire hunter in Mexico.
There's a movie with Kevin Bacon as a vampire hunter?
Yeah, I don't remember that one. I love Stir of Echoes. He was in Stir of Echoes, written by Richard Matheson.
Maybe I'm.
Well, Stir of Echoes was scary.
And Mariachi was good.
Stir of Echoes was trippy as shit.
That's the one where the dead bodies in the wall, right?
Sixth Sense in the basement. Spoiler alert. But yes, Sixth Sense came out right before it, and I think that's the thing that that hurt it a little bit.
Because
what did Rodney?
Sixth Sense.
I didn't hear that. What'd you say?
The Sixth Sense. M. Night Shyamalan. Sixth Sense came out right before Stir of Echoes, and I think people thought it was ripping off,
and it screwed it all up.
Really, it was its own thing. Yeah. It's a really good movie. Really good movie.
It was a real good movie. I enjoyed those movies.
I still enjoy some of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, even though people may bash him. I enjoyed The Village. I enjoyed Lady in the Water. I enjoyed that stuff.
I can't lie. Even though I bonded with the gentleman, I can't say I like The Happening at all.
Which one? The Happening?
The Happening.
Oh, that was bad.
The movie The Happening. Oh,
yeah.
People were falling off buildings, and they were like,
"Oh, that was bad."
Nothing there. I was like, I can't go with that.
Oh, I couldn't.
M. Night wasn't what he used to be. The one where
he did Avatar.
Well, and then he did the one, the alien one, where you could beat the aliens up with a baseball bat.
With water.
Oh yeah,
Science.
And they got water on them. They
went
across the galaxy and didn't realize it was water on a planet that's comprised mostly of water.
Yeah,
and you beat them up with a baseball bat. So I don't want to beat my aliens up with a baseball bat. I want my aliens to be stronger than me, and I have to outwit them because I know the world better than them.
So you like the movie Mars then?
Mars Attacks?
Mars Attacks? You like that one, Rodney? No?
As a comedy thing, yes. But not, like if we are framing this as actual science fiction, then that's a different conversation. For fun, yes. I like Big Trouble in Little China. I like all of those movies. But it's not. I don't want to throw water.
You know what?
Did you watch Old?
I want to scream and throw a glass of water on my alien, and then it just scurries off. I want my alien to be bad.
Oh, shit. That's
like
funny.
what was Independence Day, like that?
Yeah, I like it. I like Independence Day.
The movie Old. Did you watch that one? The one.
I didn't watch
something
Old.
bigger.
I didn't watch Old because
it's not worth it, honestly.
I refuse to even waste my time on that one.
Wow. See, I'm not that passionate against M. Night. I'm not that committed to M. Night. I'll go see M. Night. I'm your guy. I still like M. Night.
No,
Sixth Sense, Unbreakable. You know,
the Village. The Village was my favorite one of his.
I wasn't as big as The Village.
You know what? Unbreakable to Unbreakable to me. I know the Unbreakable to me was very. When I first saw it, I was underwhelmed. It was a movie that got better every single time I saw it. If that makes sense.
How many times did you watch it?
Well, every time it was on TV, you would watch it, right? And then you watch Glass, and then you all that stuff. You know, you kind of comprise together. And I wasn't too thrilled with Glass. I don't know. It's a hit and miss, that whole series.
Yeah. What was Glass the one where they have the whole breakout fight at the end of the insane asylum?
No, that was the. Well, yes, it was Glass. I keep thinking because Mr. Glass was in Unbreakable.
Right.
The other
yeah.
one.
That was that.
Unbreakable, right?
It was. I thought that was great. I enjoyed that.
And he was running like a lion.
Yeah, the whole beat. Yeah.
Dude, that was pretty good. So, Danny, he's good. Breako's the best and his slowest film, but again, just proves Hitchcock influence. Yeah, that's true. Glass and Split are sequels to Unbreakable.
Split, that's right.
Yeah, but Split, that's the second one. Yeah,
that was crazy. That was a good movie too.
Well, that movie proved to me how much of an actor, what's his face is that the guy who plays. I always forget his name.
Yeah, I've had brain fog all night.
Yeah.
Professor X. What's his name?
Professor.
Come on, chat.
Yeah, the younger one.
Help us out here.
Yeah, the younger one.
The younger one.
Come on, chat. Help us out. We're over here.
Something McAvoy.
Yes.
Yeah. Something McAvoy.
James.
Yeah, I think that's right.
James McAvoy. There we go.
Yeah.
See, look at the power of the people.
There we go.
Power of the people. There we go. Everybody goes Patrick.
Not Patrick Stewart.
James McAvoy. Yes. This guy. That is hilarious. Yeah, we're talking about that. They're gonna do. What are your thoughts on all these X-Men and Marvel? What's it called? What's the other one that comes? Fantastic Four movies. They keep on trying to reboot them. What are they doing wrong? Oh, I didn't know. Are you a Flash fan, Rodney?
Well, I have my Flash T-shirt on, but
a
lot of times I'll wear things that just fit. And I'm not a fan at all. Like you'll see me in a New Orleans Saints shirt, and people, you like the Saints, and I'm like, because when you're this size, everything that you wear, you're a billboard for, you're advertising for. But am I a fan of the Flash? Yes.
Would you watch the movie?
I haven't seen the movie.
No, neither have I, actually.
Who's been bugging me? He's been asking me, let's go see Flash. And I'm like, didn't Flash leave a month ago? And I just say yes, knowing that he'll never show up. It will never go.
6LT. I'm a 5X myself. What are you, Rodney?
3XLT.
What? Honestly, I thought you made it sound like you were a big boy. You're just a medium-sized big boy.
I'm 6'8", and I have been a 5 and a 6, and I have been those before. But the dinosaurs died first because they were so large. So I try my best for longevity. I'm trying to get smaller, as I age.
You're like a whole foot taller than me, Rodney.
I saw you. I saw a picture with you and Lawrence Fishburne. I'm like, damn, he made him look tiny. I didn't know you were 6'8". I was thinking 6'5". That's honestly, but
that's a midget. 6'5". That gives me a little person.
Little small fella.
You're talking to a Mexican. 6 foot to me is tall. Caesar is one of the Aboriginals. He's like 6'1", and I'm like, they don't make him that tall here, not especially my species. I mean, not my race.
6'2".
Well, you have some professional wrestlers out there that
Yeah, I'm 6'2".
That delay is killing the conversation. I'm telling you right now.
Rodney, how tall? It's killing me. It's killing me. I know. It's killing me. Rodney, how tall was Michael Clark Duncan?
6'4", 6'3".
What? I thought
he looks much bigger on screen.
Maybe 6'5", but he was
well
buff.
because
sure.
Yeah.
If you ever watch the behind the scenes of the Green Mile, there's a shot, and shout out to my friend Constantine Nazar, who directed it. You'll see Michael sitting down and Tom Hanks is talking to him. And I'm standing there like looking really stupid just to be in the shot. I serve no purpose other than to just stand there. And I'm wearing the same clothes. And I'm like fat. And Michael's not. So you see my belly. And it's like you don't know what movie and why is this guy here and you want to call security 20 years ago. But
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I had the stupidest look. I mean, and I had a mustache. Everything about it was bad. But I'm in a shot with Michael Clark Duncan and Tom Hanks. So there you go.
I love that.
That was a great movie. Posted a picture of it on Instagram. You gotta dig through pictures to get to it. But yeah. I'm in the movie. What movie is it? Is the movie Magnolia with Tom Cruise? Oh. I'm in a scene with Tom Cruise, and people will pick me out of movies and say, "Is that you?" And it's like, yeah. So there you go.
You start saying no from now on.
You were
that guy is.
Yeah. Rodney, next to Tom Cruise, you were like 10 feet tall.
I do look like a giant black bear about to eat Tom Cruise. Like I'm standing in the background in the shadows, and it looks like you want to say, "Oh shit, somebody come help Tom Cruise," and it's just me. It's just me standing there. I'm actually security, but I look like I'm about to attack Tom Cruise.
Speaking of Tom Cruise, that the new Mission Impossible movie came out, and people were kind of digging it.
God bless.
I like those Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, I like him when they come on.
He does all his own stunts.
Yes,
I can wait. Crazy. I can wait.
I will say Maverick.
Yeah, me too.
That was incredible.
There you go. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, Rodney, you got to check that out.
No, it's one of those movies that you watch it and you're like, shit, that was better than I thought.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
I heard a lot of people have loved that movie. I haven't watched it yet. If it had
I'm just amazed he does. If he had a vampire, he would do.
Well,
speaking of vampires, Blackula. I think I saw the original a long time ago, and
yes,
that's some good shit. I like watching
first Blackula, and there are people who love Blackula Scream. I'm not of that sort because the story was all over the place.
Oh yeah,
but Blackula moved me. It was funny because as a horror film fan, even as a kid, I saw all of these characters. Wolfman, Dracula, blah blah, Frankenstein. There were never black people in these movies unless it was like one cab driver that said he went that way, but they were never really part of it. So when I saw the trailer, and trailers were different during that period of time for Blackula, I begged my mother. I was like, we got to go. And, I think she was trying her best to raise this bad child. And she took me. And it was a great experience. But as I saw the movie over time, I realized how the budget, they didn't have the biggest budget.
Yeah, of course.
And some of the plot holes and some of the things. And I was like, if I could just, I'm right there. Behind Doug Hutchison.
That is great.
Behind Doug Hutchison. But there's a better one. But yes, that's a good one. That's me standing there.
And the reason I knew, look how big he is. I pressed play.
Yes.
And you can see Michael Clark Duncan right now.
And I'm standing on a platform. I'm actually standing on a platform because when he comes out, he had to step up. He didn't at the time. But there's a platform that's there that you had to get on for the Green Mile for us to be, because he had to tower over them. And Tom is like 6'1", 6'2" himself. Yeah. So you had to be 8 feet tall when you did the thing. But that is me. That's a good catch. That's a good catch.
All right. Well, y'all are talking. Let me go. And I saw this this guy's kind of big. Is that him? And I press play. Yep, that he's bigger than Michael Clark. Yep, that's him.
Yep. And there's another movie. There's a movie called Bulletproof, where I'm about to rape Adam Sandler. I'm standing behind him, and I'm only in it because Damon Wayans is the reason I'm in this business. And Damon put me in the movie. And they had no lines for me. So when the movie came out, they had a growl of a bear behind. So there's actual growling as I'm playing with Adam Sandler's ears about to rape him. And I'm not growling. That's not my growl. So it's kind of like AI. Like it superimposed the growl that I wasn't actually growling.
Rodney, how old were you when you saw Blackula?
Oh, God, 7.
Did that play a role in your horror life?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's weird for me. I think only children either become quality writers or serial killers, and I think for me, being able to have this weird attachment to genre storytelling, whether it was comic books, whether it was movies, whether it was TV with Kolchak the Night Stalker or the Salem's Lot miniseries or Gargoyles, something you guys have never seen. Not the animated version, the one with Bernie Casey as the main gargoyle. You have no idea who Bernie Casey is. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But these were things as a child that I just gravitated to, and they stopped me from hitting people over the head and ended up in jail. So, even though I was a professional wrestler for a short period of time. But yeah, I loved all of this stuff.
I love it.
I'm writing all this stuff that you've been in movies in, so I can go ahead and find. I want to find
the bulletproof one. Is worth it. The bulletproof one is worth it. That's why I brought it up. I also find the money in the movie. I got the hookup, and 10 guys jump on me, and one guy chokes me for real, like he took it too seriously, and the director kept saying, like after he would say, "Cut, let's do it again. Cut, let's do it again." And this guy would choke me harder every time. And I wanted to like beat the shit out of him. But I couldn't. So there you go. Thank you, Brandon. The Gargoyles movie is good. They made a sequel to that wasn't as good, but the first one for a TV movie, fantastic.
Did you guys know there was a Gargoyles movie? I had no idea.
I didn't either.
And it came on TV, and it was a good TV movie. They used to have this thing called
There's a lot of movies.
It was a movie of the week, and like Kolchak the Night Stalker, starring the late great Darren McGavin. It was written by Richard Matheson. The Night Stalker and the Night Strangler. They were 2 movies of the week, and they were fantastic. And they had vampires in them, and I think Jack the Ripper were the ones that were on TV. Fantastic.
The one that traumatized me as a kid was Salem's Lot.
Yeah, it was David Soul. I watched it the other night.
When I saw that part where the kid was tapping at the window, it
just died a couple of months ago. He was the kid. Lance Kerwin was the kid.
Really? Wow.
Man, I tell you what. And my bedroom had a big window over my head. It would freak me. I was like, great.
Yeah. That was a great movie.
How do you follow you for? For me, just at the RodneyBarnes on Instagram and on Twitter and on Threads. I'm on Threads.
You're on Threads
now? All I had to do was push a button, and they did it for me.
Threads.
Anything that's, I'm not very tech savvy. So if you're Mark Zuckerberg and you want to compete, just make it really easy, and I'll go over
there. I'm really easy.
Hey Dale,
comics.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I'm sorry. Lost Boy Comics, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everywhere. Website.
So real quick, yes. She just wanted me to do that. I'm still trying to find that clip. That's what I was doing right now. Find the clip on YouTube.
You can find it. It's a pivotal part of the movie. It's like midway through the second act, towards not the end, but he gets him out of jail. Like somehow, because Adam is the con man, he goes to jail, and Damon finds out that he needs him. And then when he's in jail, I'm about to rape him, and then Damon gets him, and he punches me in the stomach for real. And they kept it in the movie. And So yeah, that was my scene.
That's a great story.
And he says, and this isn't in the script, like sorry to take your lunch, big man. And it's like, and it was, aimed at me. And yeah. And I was just an obese kid with a dream, who just wanted to be in Hollywood, who was sleeping in his car, who Damon took advantage of in that moment. And I couldn't come back because he was the star of the movie. So yeah.
Go ahead and do your little thing, Caesar.
Hey, Rodney, for those who do not know what Killadelphia is about and they just keep hearing about it, what can you give us a quick synopsis of what it is about?
Quick is difficult. I'll do my best. It has 3 major storylines. One is a father-son story where a dad who is a homicide detective decides that there's a serial killer. He finds out a serial killer in Philadelphia. And he's on the trail of the serial killer. And he gets a tip where the serial killer might be, goes into the place, comes out dead. His son, who's estranged from him, a beat cop in Baltimore, comes back to close out his affairs, finds his father's journal. His father had been taking notes about the serial killer. Learns that dad thought that the serial killer was a vampire. Dad must be going crazy. Goes down the same rabbit hole that dad did, comes to the same conclusion, and then says, well, if a vampire killed my dad, there's a chance my father's a vampire. Digs up dad. Dad says, what took you so long? An adventure begins of vampire dad and son trying to stop John Adams, who is the head of a vampire rebellion in the city of Philadelphia. There you go. That's the best I can do for right now.
Yep.
No, that's good. That's enough. That's good enough.
Yes.
What is
Threads? Threads is Twitter. It's Twitter Lite. Twitter Lite. Twitter.
Have y'all heard of? Did y'all hear about Bluesky?
Yeah. Yeah, I got that too. I'm on that too, but I don't know how to use that.
Dang, you're everywhere, Rodney.
I was invited. Selling comic books is hard. So you have to do what you have to do to connect with people and hopefully get them to want to take a shot at reading your work. There you go.
Great work.
There
you go.
Yep. Are you on TikTok also?
No. I just follow my daughters because I don't want them to be naked and doing all types of dances and stuff. Yeah. So I follow them just enough to be able to see them do things that are wrong. The Chinese probably know more about my daughter because of TikTok.
Comic books. Oh man, I can't talk. Fucked up internet.
You're good, dude. So real quick, someone just reminded me earlier. I said Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon was in a vampire horror. I was incorrect. It's James Woods in John Carpenter's Vampires.
Yes.
Yes. I remember now.
Yes. That's a whole different story.
Yeah. Now it changes everything.
That's John Carpenter, isn't it?
Yep, John Carpenter's
Rodney, I think that's John Carpenter.
It is.
Yeah. You know what? I recently saw a Day Shift with Snoop Dogg and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Have you guys? That was not too bad.
It was fun.
That was not too shabby. It's a vampire movie. You might dig that, Rodney.
It's contortionist, contorting on a regular basis. That's about it.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take your face value.
It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Yes. I'm answering the chat. But yes. And at some point I have to get off.
See, now I'm afraid of.
I can't find it. I think No, I did not find it. I am super frustrated with
it. It's the only reason why I
find it. Rodney.
So before we leave,
that's the reason why we're hanging on there.
Yeah, I was only hanging around for that at this point.
Yeah, I was over here. I did my best.
An opportunity to find that clip. So, yeah,
I'll share that clip later. I'll find it somehow. But before we do get off, because we usually go for an hour only. An hour and a half is pretty fast. I looked at it.
It is.
Charlie,
I usually don't talk to anybody. There are children I haven't talked to in this house for an hour and a half.
Well, when you said there's children, I'm like, dang, there's some estranged children. That's what my first thought went. I'm glad you didn't say that.
But you drink shots for cancer and you eat chips and you fall. So I don't hold that.
I almost did.
But that's I've never almost fallen in my own office. While I was sitting, I've never done that. I've fallen before, but there were other circumstances. There was ice. There were other things. I was tired of standing, so I just fell. But it was never because I was sitting there
for a good cause.
Yeah, for a good cause.
For a good cause. And now you're inspired to write a book. And
I am. The Chip. The Chip. That's the name of it. The Chip.
I like the Chip. I thought it was supposed to be Nope 2.
That was somebody else's pitch.
It's the Chip.
Yeah,
the Chip.
Before we get off, as always, we'll let our co-host go ahead and talk about how they can reach out to him, what he does, real quick, and then Rodney, if you want to promote anything, you want to promote people to get people's eyes off. Okay, hold on. I know, you're Rodney.
No, I'm like, it's I talk about it all the time. The only things I'm coming to Comic-Con, San Diego, Raleigh. Those things, but we've already talked about Killadelphia and we've already talked about Blackula, so it's nothing else really.
Oh, there you go. But actually, before I do that, just a quick question about SDCC. Now that Marvel's not going to be in there, do you think San Diego Comic-Con has swayed away or moved away from its true thing about comics and more into Hollywood?
I think now I think it'll. I mean, it did for a while, but without all of those folks there, I'll actually be able to walk through and not step on a child, which is a beautiful thing, because there was a time, because again, I'm old, I've gone to Comic-Con in San Diego and it was just about comic books. And then it became another thing with video games and movies and all this other stuff. And now if a third of that isn't going to be there, I might actually enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I think that's a great thought right there. And I'm glad I asked you before we got off. But Charlie, go ahead, let people know how they can reach you and promote.
Yeah. You can find me on TikTok, Lost Boy Comics, Instagram, Lost Boy Comics, website, lostboycomics.com. I'm all over Facebook, Lost Boy Comics. I'm Charlie Lostboy on Facebook as well. And I love to chat, love to spread the joy of comics. So anytime you want to reach out, ask me any questions. I do giveaways a lot, and I enjoy doing them because that's what this brotherhood is all about. So please feel free to reach out. New store, actual brick and mortar, fully opening in about 2 weeks. So I'm excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And then Rodney, if you want to let them know where they can reach you, I know you said Threads, Bluesky, Patreon, OnlyFans.
All of them have at the RodneyBarnes. If you go on any of those and you have at the RodneyBarnes, you can find me at those places. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of them at the RodneyBarnes.
Yeah. And hopefully you will have your own podcast soon, right? Especially horror theme.
I do the Winning Time podcast, the companion podcast for the show, but I have another one in development now. So
all right,
just talking about horror movies and all of that kind of stuff.
When you're ready to push that, you could be a guest at any given time, Ronnie. Just
thank you.
You're welcome much. Anytime.
I want to come on with the Chip show.
I know you were going to say something.
I want to come on that show. It's important. I want to help cancer too.
Oh, you know what? Okay.
I want to come on just to watch. I'm not going to participate.
Oh, no. Right. Dale will send you the links.
Yeah, I gotta watch the Chip.
I've got a feeling that if I push hard enough, somebody will fall down. If I can just keep contributing, because I want cancer to stop in my lifetime. So I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until someone is no longer upright. or cancer's cured, or there's no more cancer.
One or the other. One or the other, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to clarify, the next show, Drink and Draw, that's going to be for Mission 22. The following one is for another cause. Brandon is on here. They just created their own Spawn Con. So they're gonna have fundraise for different events. So every month is gonna be different, not just cancer. There's not enough chips and liquor for us to cure that.
We gotta help Spawn too. So yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, especially.
It's in Killadelphia now, so we have to.
Yeah.
There you go.
So there was what a good show. You guys can follow me right here, Caesar at the Dracula's Wolf on Instagram. Rodney actually reposted my thing on the show. That was a big help there. Thank you, Rodney. Go ahead and give me a follow, people. I'm over 700. I'm doing all right. I do some stuff. I go live a couple times. Whatever, man. So thanks to them, Rodney, Charlie. It was a good show. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you guys having
me. He only goes live when his internet works. So just be careful, guys. You never know what happens.
Listen, Metronet. I'm telling you, I switched and it's been the best thing ever.
Oh.
With me, Dell, Culinary Comics. You know where to find me. We run the podcast. Culinary Comics on TikTok, Culinary Comics on Instagram, and just Dell Guzman on Facebook. Guys, well, thank you very much for tuning in today. It has been fun with Rodney. I didn't know I was going to get roasted by him. It was a roast show.
What are you talking about?
We watched the replay, Rodney, but I will find that clip where you're going to rape Adam Sandler, and I will show that.
We were going to have a loving, intimate moment.
Right.
Look into your eyes. A bonding moment. That's where it came from.
It was going to be gentle. There was no rough stuff that was going to happen. It was going to be loving. I'm a huge fan of Adam Sandler, and I was just going to show it how much of a fan. There you go.
Next time you're on, I'm gonna wait. Next time we're on, we'll show you that clip. That's the first thing we're gonna talk about how.
You should use that as the preview that the star of this scene is going to. It's not Adam Sandler. It's the other guy, the guy growling in the back. He's going to be back. Yeah, say my name. Just the big black guy growling is going to be on what?
Oh, that's perfect. That's just perfect. I make sure I don't get canceled for saying that because
there's none of those words. Big, nobody's going to cancel me. That black is a wonderful color. So.
Thank you, Rodney, for showing up. You've been real fun. I was kind of nervous bringing him because to me, regular Joe Smo, I understand to yourself, you're a regular Joe Smo, but you're not to us, honestly.
Yeah, you're big stuff.
I appreciate that, and thank you for interviewing me sober. I appreciate
it. Guys, once again, every Wednesday we'll be on here at see, look, that's the delay laugh. That was hilarious. We're already laughing at me, and then he delays it 10 seconds. That's a double burn right there. I think Rodney, that's good. That's real good. But next Wednesday, guys, again, we'll be on here 8 p.m. Central. Thank you for tuning in. Rodney, thank you for stopping by. Charlie as well.
All right. See you next time, guys.
Have a great night.